Let's take a look at the shifting front line. On the ground from their eastern stronghold of Benghazi, rebel forces have tried many times to push to the west. At one stage, they were within 60 kilometers of Sirte, that's Gaddafi's hometown. But government troops held their line and repelled that attack. After a brutal siege by pro-Gaddafi forces, Misrata is now in rebel hands, and opposition fighters there have pushed halfway to Zlitan. In the mountains south of Tripoli, opposition troops are making a bold push towards the capital. They have now taken Zintan and the vital town of Shakshuk. Al Jazeera's James Bays is just behind the front line, which is now as close as the rebels have come to the capital and Gaddafi's stronghold, Tripoli.
They've won an important battle, but there's no time for celebration. The fighters in Shakshuk remain on high alert. They know Gaddafi's forces will try to retake the strategically important town and the territory beyond it, which they've now also captured. At times they seem nervous, but for the cameras there's the usual bravado.
Our brothers in Tripoli are waiting for us, and with the help of God we will be there soon.
I want to say to Gaddafi to leave right now before the rebels get him. I want to tell him he will not succeed. Victory will be for the rebels. May Libya be free.
These rebel victories are strategically important. Where I am right now is just 160 kilometers from Tripoli, and opposition forces are even further up this road, a further 55 kilometers, just 105 kilometers from Gaddafi's seat of power. Gaddafi's troops had been based at the electricity station in Shakshuk, which supplies many of the mountain towns. They'd cut the power, which also affected water supply and the mobile phone network. The electricity has now been switched back on. In the barracks used by the Gaddafi forces, evidence that they left in a hurry. The food supplies they abandoned, now fodder for the mountain goats. There was no heavy fighting here. They fled when part of their camp was hit by mortars. It is perhaps an indication of a lack of resolve. But taking Shakshuk presents fresh challenges for the opposition. Their supply lines will become longer. Already fuel is limited, and they complain about a lack of weapons and ammunition. Although we were shown some new guns which have arrived in the last few days. This a brand new assault rifle, an Israeli-designed variant of the AK-47. And for the first time, these fighters will now be advancing on the plains, well beyond the familiar territory of their mountain strongholds. James Bays, Al Jazeera, Shakshuk, Western Libya.
The United States has accused Qatar of violating humanitarian norms by deporting a Libyan woman who says she was raped by Gaddafi troops. Iman al-Obeidi made headlines in March when she told foreign journalists